D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. Willie Donick will join the program in a little bit. Derek and I are live at the Circa Sportsbook in Franklin, Kentucky. David Janes is back at our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, will join us at 3:40. The return of silly underdog picks at 5 p.m. We have two more rounds to go in the competition this season, one today, one following the new year. And if I do say so myself, Derek Mason, I am feeling great about it because I'm the only one who won last time, and I'm coming for you.
Yes. You need those 7 points, don't you?
We'll see.
I need points, period.
We'll see what happens. Willie Donick will join the program in the 5 o'clock hour because we can't do silly underdog picks without the commissioner. But Derek, we believed, we said the Tennessee Titans would win Sunday, and that's precisely what they did, defeating the Chiefs, and I say that with air quotation fingers, the Chiefs 26-9 at Nissan Stadium, snapping an 11-game home losing streak. For the first time since early November of last year, the Tennessee Titans won a game at home. You can kiss the number one overall pick goodbye. The New York Times gives the Titans a less than 1% chance of finishing at the top of the draft order once again. They are now projected to pick 6th in the NFL draft, but that might not matter to you. You might be more concerned with the performance of Cam Ward, and he had what I would say is his best game of the season. 21 for 28 passing, 228 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I know he was playing a preseason version of the Chiefs. Gardner Minshew tore his ACL, just like Patrick Mahomes did the week before. And some quarterback I've never heard of played the majority of that game. Now, of course, Cam Ward wasn't going head-to-head with the Chiefs' third-string quarterback. But again, you can generously call the Chiefs lineup yesterday a preseason lineup. But Cam Ward still took another step Sunday as he attempts to end his rookie season with positive momentum. Derek, how would you evaluate the Titans' performance against the Chiefs as a whole, as well as Ward's performance specifically?
I think as a whole, they went out there and did what they needed to do. We all understand who they were going against, not necessarily, the name. We're talking about the guys that were actually on the field. Patrick Mahomes, other guys that were out. And then you had Gardner Minshew go down early in the game. But even with that, I thought this team played with a ferociousness. This team kept fighting. This team played hard on both sides of the ball. Was it pretty again? No, really, it wasn't pretty. But this team, and you got to understand too, we talk about the guys that Kansas City didn't have. What about the guys the Titans didn't have? And then they end up losing another guy in the secondary yesterday. So when I look at it from that standpoint, the Titans, just as much as people want to say, well, the Chiefs will run out this guy, that guy, and they pretty much laid down. I could have said that about the Tennessee Titans. Again, their whole secondary is decimated. And then they took another hit yesterday. They're decimated across the board, really. But that back end, even with that quarterback, that back end still held up. You had a bunch of guys that, frankly and honestly, I'm great. It's good that they're getting an opportunity, but they don't need to be on the field at this point. Like, if guys were not injured, these guys wouldn't be out there. So I could have said, or I could say, well, the Titans could have gave up, but they didn't. They fought hard. And I'm not saying that the Chiefs gave up. They didn't. They continued to fight. But yesterday, the Titans were the better team, and they showed they were the better team. Again, was it perfect? No, but they showed the team that they played yesterday, the Kansas City team that they played yesterday. I'm not talking about the team they may play next year or the team they played 2 years ago. I'm talking about that team they played yesterday. They were better than them, and they beat them like they were supposed to. So I take that and say, you know what, job well done. Do I want to see more? Absolutely. Cam played well. But Cam had a game like this before. I think it was a couple of games ago, and I don't think it was a win. Or was it a win?
His best performance before yesterday, and whether you want to evaluate his performance based on what you saw, but if you're looking at the numbers, his best performance of the season before yesterday was the loss to Seattle.
Yes.
That was his best performance. Yesterday, he had his highest passer rating of the season, 122.3. If you want to get even nerdier, he had his highest EPA per dropback, expected points added per dropback of the season yesterday as well. So whether you look at the eye test, whether you look at the statistics, Cam Ward certainly had his best performance. Dylan on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com, says, didn't the Chiefs have almost all of their starters on defense, though? I know that they were
a lot of them.
There were a lot of them out there. I don't know which ones weren't available, but the Chiefs have a solid defense. We know this. And we have tried to tell you many, many times how difficult the schedule has been this season for the Titans, specifically the caliber of defenses that they have played this season. So, yes, the Chiefs were without Patrick Mahomes on offense. Gardner Minshew tore his ACL on like the third play of the game. I believe it was 9 other players were held out of the game. So, again, there were notable players on the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. So I don't want to take that away from Cam Ward, although I did call them the Chiefs with quotation fingers. But here, you know what? We're gonna take your reaction all show long, 615-737-1025. But I want to specifically hear from the Cam Ward skeptics today, because Cam Ward undeniably has played better since the Titans' schedule resumed following their bye week. He has played better. He is completing nearly 64% of his passes. He has thrown 8 touchdowns and just 1 interception. His rating is up from 72.1 before the bye to 89.3. He's taking 2 fewer sacks per game. So Cam Ward is playing better since the team came back from its bye week. And Derek, we talked about this last week. We've been talking about it all season. Whether you're on the side of the fence that Cam Ward is being held back by a bad team and he's shown enough signs that you're confident he can develop into a franchise quarterback, or whether you're on the other side, Cam stinks, he's a bust, he'll never live up to that draft slot, it's going to take a lot for you to reconsider your position. But I do want to hear from the Cam skeptics today, 615-737-1025, because he has been playing better. And the one thing, well, multiple things, but one of the things that we've been talking about, Derek, one thing that he has struggled with is his accuracy on deep passes, specifically outside the numbers. And yesterday, he was much better in that area. He completed a deep pass to Iamaner early in the third quarter for 25 yards. A couple of plays later, he had that excellent scramble and pass to Chimdike that went for 30 yards. Now, he did throw an incomplete pass to Gunnar Helm on 4th down early in the game. Gunnar Helm stepped out of bounds. And I certainly saw some commentary that Cam did not put it in the right place and maybe let Gunnar Helm a little bit off, and that's why he stepped out of bounds. And we can talk about that. But one of the things we have hammered Cam Ward for is his inaccuracy, specifically on deep passes outside the numbers. And yesterday, he made multiple plays deep outside the numbers.
And that's what you want to see. And listen, he can, not have a good game next week. And, the skeptics will come out again. He had a good week last week, but look at him this week. And my rebuttal to that is he's a rookie. But if you're watching the game, is he getting better at the little things that will ultimately turn into the bigger things? We was always taught, and I'm sure people, teach their children this. If you're not going to be detailed with the little things, or if I can't count on you to do the little things, how am I going to give you something big? Because you hadn't done the little things yet in order for me to give you the other thing. That's what people want. People don't want the little things. They just want to see the big things. Well, he ain't going to give you the big things until he gets better at these little things. And that's what he's doing. And that's why you see it in spurts. Like, you see a flash here, flash there, because he's still working on the little things. That's why you see it consistently with quarterbacks that have been playing this game for a long time that we consider really good to elite. It's all the time. Why? Because they've worked on those little things. Now that flash stuff becomes more consistent. That's the way I look at the game. Cam is still working on the little things, people. And yes, he has to get better, and I believe he has. But he's going to show you flashes of the big thing, but he's still working on the smaller things.
I would love your thoughts on this note from the NFL. Cam Ward averaged his quickest time to throw of the season, 2.42 seconds, and thrived on quick passes in a Week 16 win against the Chiefs. 15 of 18 attempts he completed under 2.5 seconds for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was blitzed on 48.4% of his dropbacks and completed 9 of 13 for 117 and a touchdown when blitzed. So a significant improvement for Cam Ward, specifically when blitzed, but again, 15 of 18 on passes under 2.5 seconds. Your thoughts on those numbers and what they mean for Cam Ward?
I think he's seeing things a lot quicker. Again, it's not perfect, but I think he's seeing things a lot quicker. There was a play where I think it was third down, and Cam there were 2 outs. I think it was DK running it out and Gunner running out. And Cam was getting ready to throw it. And the linebacker jumped out in his periphery, in his vision. And he pumped it, and he immediately went to look for the second guy or the third guy. He wasn't there. He ended up getting sacked. Those are the things that I'm seeing. It was a bad play, but it was a good. What was good about it is that he recognized it quickly. He jumped out. Oh, I can't throw that. And then he quickly scanned back to see where that second and third guy was. It was the rush was just so fast he couldn't get back to him. Those are the things that I see that the typical person is not picking up on. They just see, oh, it wasn't a completed pass and he got sacked. No, when you see his eyes, he scans back to the left and he's looking for that other guy, but the rush came. Or I think he ended up throwing it was an incomplete pass or a knockdown. But either way, Cam is learning, people. He's seen the little things. And that's what Coach McCoy talked about early on when he took this job. After a couple, he said, Cam is seeing the little things. He's not repeating the same mistakes over and over. He gets it. He want to know. He understands it. Or if he doesn't understand, he's going to make sure he does it long enough and hard enough that he will eventually understand it. The numbers are not gaudy, people. But if you watch Cam throughout this season, and in particular, like you said, Adam, after the bye week, he's picking it up a lot quicker. And that's what I mean by if he had talent, like more talent around him, or some veteran guys that he depend on that are not playing right now, just think if he had those guys and they were playing up to their level. Just think what he would probably look sort of like Drake May did last year. And his only thing was get me the right coach and the right OC, and I'll be all right.
One texter says, give all of the Cam Ward haters my phone number so I can hit them up. I am not going to do that. Your phone will not stop ringing
exactly.
for days on end. And I have been underwhelmed overall by what I've seen from Cam Ward this season. I was hoping for more. And I have been somewhat encouraged by what I've seen over the past 4, 5, 6 weeks since the Titans schedule resumed again. His completion percentage has increased from 57.6% before the bye to 63.9% since the bye. Before the bye, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Since the bye, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Before the bye, a 72.1 passer rating. Since the bye, 89.3. So 72.1 up to 89.3. The sacks are way down. He's not throwing for as many yards. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that since the team came back from its bye, that the Titans have prioritized more of those quick,
Yes.
short passes. He's not looking downfield as much as he did before the bye at the beginning of the season under Brian Callahan, and he was struggling in that department. But as I said before, the most encouraging thing to me yesterday was he made some really big plays down the field, down the sideline that we haven't seen. And in every game, I feel like we've been given a taste of here's what Cam Ward can do if he reaches his maximum potential. And it was the play to DK, the scramble, eluding defenders, throwing against his body, DK going up and get it. And credit to DK for doing that because DK doesn't always catch passes.
He's had the drops.
Yes. So kudos to DK for actually hauling in that pass. But you see a play like that, and you are reminded of why so many people thought of Cam Ward as worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. Time will tell if that actually happens, of course. But I think even the biggest Cam Ward skeptics have to feel slightly encouraged. I'm not saying that if you are down on Cam that you need to completely change your tune based on what you've seen over the past month and a half. But I do think that there have been elements there that were missing in the beginning of the season that have started to appear more frequently. And I do think that's reason for cautious optimism. I emphasize the cautious part of cautious optimism. I understand the caliber of opponent he played yesterday. You were playing a Chiefs team that's missing the playoffs for the first time in more than 10 years without its leader at quarterback, without multiple players. The Chiefs basically have thrown in the towel. So I get that. That context is important when discussing Cam Ward's performance yesterday. But I do think ultimately you have to be encouraged by what you've seen. Let's go to Dave on our phone line. Dave, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Yeah, in all of this conversation about Cam Ward and the break, one of the things that occurs to me is what do you think happened during the break? What was it about the break that enabled him to change and grow? I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Dave. What do you think, Derek?
I think they had an opportunity to, there were enough games played that they had an opportunity. And it's not like they were playing, again, and we talked about this, it's not like they were playing cupcake defenses. They were playing top-ranked defenses. So when you have that many games in the bag, during the bye week, you can go back. You, the quarterback, OC, everybody on offense can go back and sort of critique yourself, self-evaluate it, the film. Look at it. Be critical of it. Things you did right, things you did wrong, things you need to improve. This is what they like to play. This is what this team likes to play. This is what the majority of the NFL, this is what it's going to look like once we move forward after the bye. And then after all of that, once you figure that all out in a week and a half, what you do is now you cut the plays down, or now you say, we're going to do things that are beneficial to the quarterback, which means, and we saw it, we're going to work bottom up, meaning we're going to start working with this quick passing game. Let's get the rhythm. Because when Cam's in rhythm, Cam is good. When Cam's not in rhythm, he looks like a complete rookie. And he doesn't look like the first round pick, the first pick in the NFL draft. But let's get him in rhythm real quick, develop this running game, and then we'll kind of move from there. We're not going to work top to bottom. Our offensive line isn't that good, and Cam doesn't know defenses like he just doesn't know defenses because he's a rookie. He's learning. So we're going to work from bottom to top, quick game, run the football, and then allow him to read these defenses. And it's worked out well for them, meaning the Titans. It's worked out well for Cam. It's worked out well for the Titans, not from the standpoint of winning and losing. It's the standpoint of these young men that you are depending on moving forward. I'm talking about next year, Gunner, Elliott, DK, Cam. They are developing. It may not be wins, but they're good. There's good in the film that we're watching.
615-737-1025. Your thoughts on the Titans' 26-9 win against the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday at Nissan Stadium. The Titans' first win at home since November 3rd, 2024. An 11-game losing streak at home comes to an end. Cam Ward with his best game as a pro, 21 for 28, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. a passer rating of 122.3. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, Jeffrey Simmons had an interesting comment after the game about Cam Ward. I want to play it and get Derek's thoughts on it coming up next. 615-737-1025. Mondays were made for Macero. Big screens, bold flavors, and all the football action from Queso to kickoffs. This is how Macero does game night. Macero Football Mondays in 12 South. Don't miss a snap.
one thing I told him, like, it's hard to win in this league, no matter who it's against. I'm sure you wanted everything to be cleaner, and you got to enjoy every one of them. I mean, especially the way this season been going for us, that's kind of my message was to him. But I understood where he was coming from. It's not always going to be clean, but just like today, like I told him, I mean most, passing yards in Titan history for a rookie. I kind of threw that in and joked with him, but like that's big time. And that's the expectation that he had for himself. And that's the reason why, man, as I keep telling people, that's the reason why I don't want to go nowhere. I see the competitive nature. I see the growth, as a rookie of Cam. I see I can see where he could take this franchise. So, I'm looking forward to continue to end the season the right way. And we'll see how next year goes for us.
That was Jeffrey Simmons talking about Cam Ward after the Titans win against the Chiefs yesterday at Nissan Stadium. One part we didn't play, Derek. Jeffrey Simmons said he told Cam Ward, don't be a Grinch today. Because remember what happened a couple of weeks ago when the Titans won at Cleveland. Cam Ward was a bit muted.
Yeah.
I was going to say curmudgeonly, but I'm not sure that's the right word. He was a bit muted. And then there was the whole story about what Arden Key allegedly said on the plane ride home. Don't listen to Cam. It's hard to win in this league. So Jeffrey Simmons was talking about that. But then he mentioned what he said in that clip, which is he's the reason I didn't want to go anywhere because he can see the competitive fire in Cam Ward. And that's a huge, vote of confidence, I guess you could say, for Cam Ward.
Yeah. And listen, Jeff said it too. It's not perfect. It wasn't clean. But he's like everybody else inside that building. And, I know it's hard for, fans to sort of see it at times because the numbers are not there, nor are the wins there, but they see it inside that locker room. And I believe Jeff in what he said, both that Cam is developing and that this is one of the reasons why he wanted to stay here. Because he sees, the talent in the quarterback, because that's what it's all about. If you don't think you got a quarterback, then it's hard for a guy like Jeff, where he has less years in front of him than anything, that if he didn't feel the quarterback wasn't the guy, I'm sure he would try to somehow, some way move somewhere else where he can potentially win a title. Not to say the Titans are going to win the title in the next year or two. I'm not saying that. But I think his next contract will put him here for the remainder of his career, which means I think it'll be another 3, possibly 4 years. So he sees that and he understands that in about 2 years, man, maybe even a year and a half, depending, in about 2, we're going to be right where we want to. And I want to be a part of that. Why? Because of the quarterback. And obviously the division that he spoke to Borgonzi and Brinkert about, and Borgonzi and Brinkert, spoke about it as well briefly too. So he's seeing all this. So I tend to believe Jeff because I know what I'm seeing. Yes, I'm not looking for the gaudy numbers. It'd be great if he did have them, but I'm not looking at the gaudy numbers. I'm looking at, is he developing the way a quarterback needs to develop in the small things? And I think he is.
Let's go to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and welcome in Carlotta. Carlotta, thank you for calling. Please go ahead.
Hi there.
Hello.
Merry Christmas to all. Hi.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I was delighted with Jeff's comments, and this isn't what I was calling about, but I was absolutely delighted with Jeff's comments, and hopefully they don't trade him away. Anyway, my question has to do with the coaching search, and I understand that Nagy is part of the conversation. And if I am correct, he's OC for Kansas City. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Is this his first year or second year as OC?
He's been there for a few years now
it's
since
a
being
off and on.
fired by the Chicago Bears, but he is the
Bears,
offensive
right.
coordinator there. He does not call the offensive plays in Kansas City. Andy Reid does that.
Andy Reid does. Right. Okay. Well, I was curious because it wasn't a great fit in Chicago, and the offensive, you were talking. I think the show before was talking about, how does somebody respond during difficulty, right? So this year they had real difficulty. This is the first year that they've had real difficulty, and the offense has not looked great. So I was just curious about what your thoughts are about Nagy with that perspective.
Thank you for the call, Carlotta. And we are
Mhm.
going to discuss the coaching search in the 4:00 hour because Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported over the weekend that the Titans list of candidates is quote unquote taking shape. Now, I saw, sidebar here,
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people on social media freaking out, which is what tends to happen on social media. I saw people on social media freaking out because, like, that's the list? Those are the only people they're going to interview? It's not like Mike Borgonzi took a photo of his legal pad with all of the candidates on it and sent it to Diana Rossini and said, here, Diana, here are the only people we are considering for the job. So that's a good question, Carlotta. We are going to discuss that during the 4:00 hour. Matt Nagy, I will say this because you did call. We appreciate you calling.
Mhm.
Matt Nagy seems like a safe choice to me because, and I don't mean that necessarily as a compliment, because of his relationship with Mike Borgonzi. He's been a head coach in the NFL. He has a winning record as a head coach in the NFL with Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields as his
Mhm.
primary quarterbacks. But, I've been watching the Chiefs offense this season, as Carlotta mentioned, and I know that Andy Reid calls the plays,
Mhm.
but Matt Nagy has a say in what goes on. I have been uninspired by what I've seen from the Chiefs offense this season. So Nagy certainly is going to be a candidate, but I'm not sure I would have him at the top of my list. But we will get more into that during the 4:00 hour. We appreciate the call. Damien in Nashville, Derek wants to
Mhm.
know, why do you think it took McCoy 5 weeks to employ this style of offense? The Titans are getting everyone involved, which translates to the team being much more efficient.
I think they were just working through some things. Um, I don't think it took him 5 weeks. I think they've been trying to do this because you and I talked about this, Adam. His yards per throw or yards per in the air, something
His
it,
yards per attempt,
per attempt.
air yards per
Yeah,
attempt.
they went down
I'll pull those up.
once. At right after the bye week, they started to tick down. So that tells me that again, they were not working from the top down. They were working now. We're going to start him off with some of this quick game, get the ball out of his hands quickly. One, because of the offensive line and their troubles, because you can see there's a direct correlation between the quick passes and the way he's been in rhythm with how many sacks the offensive line is giving up. It has gone down drastically from what it was the first half of the season. So again, that tells me they've been working through this process. You can't all of a sudden go from, A to Z, especially not with a rookie. They are working it the best way they know how to try to develop their quarterback. They're starting with the intermediate, meaning the short game, intermediate game. And then as he starts to get comfortable and he gets in rhythm with that, then you see the deep shots down the field. But it wasn't like that the first 5, 6, 7 games of the season. They were trying to throw the ball downfield. And again, it could have been Cam wanting to push the ball down the field. But I think this coaching staff, meaning McCoy and Hardegree, they've gotten in his ear and they've convinced him that, listen, the best way to develop in this league is to take what the defense gives you, get in rhythm, and then we can proceed up. We're not going to be aggressive with the football like that. We don't need to be. Let's work from the ground up, and I think they have been. And I think last game was sort of an attestament to that. And again, not to say that it ain't going to go back. He may not take a half a step back, but what I'm saying is that game was sort of like, okay, this is what we've been working toward.
My very quick math tells me that Cam Ward is averaging under 6 air yards per attempt since the bye. Now, I didn't have time to look at before the bye,
yeah.
and I can do that maybe during the break.
Yes.
But since the bye, here are his air yards per attempt by game: 7.1, 5.0, 6.2, 5.1, 6.4, 5.8 for an average of 5.9-ish. And I will look to see how that compares to before the bye. I'll do that during the break, which is about to happen right now. 615-737-1025. Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, will join us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on Cam Ward's performance and the Titans' win against the Chiefs. 615-737-1025. Tomorrow, between noon and 3, Chase and Big Joe will have your chance to win a $100 Moments Peace Salon and Day Spa gift card, and you can qualify to win a $1,000 Genesis Diamonds gift card. It's the 12 Days of Christmas on 1025 The Game. D-Base, Vingan, and Donick, 1025 The Game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Teron Davenport, ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter, who is presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. TD, Was that you I saw running the Nissan Stadium steps with Mike McCoy?
Yes, it was. I was challenged to do that, and I don't back down from challenges. He's asked me to do it. That was the third straight week. I wasn't going to do it in Cleveland and San Francisco or Santa Clara. I just didn't do it, and here we are, man. Felt good, man.
You making some progress on those stair climbs?
There was never a regression. This is what we do. I've been. Hey, listen, man. You better check the internet, man. I got videos out there on my IG, man. My profile, my highlights, running the Capitol steps, man. Running the hill. We get it in over here, man. 49 is still fine, baby.
Hey, tell them don't doubt you.
No,
know,
not at
man.
all. Not at all. I would never doubt Teron Davenport. So, Teron, I do want to ask you about something that Derek and I were just talking about and have talked about in the past. You know, one thing that we've both noticed over the past 6 weeks since the Titans returned from their off week is that the air yards per attempt for Cam Ward have dropped significantly. Over the past 6 weeks, he's averaging 5.9-ish air yards per attempt. That is down from 8.3 before the bye. What went into that decision by the coaching staff? Because that certainly looks like it was intentional. And how do you think that's helped Cam Ward?
So with that, you've seen the completion percentage go up. He's at 60.4. How about that, right?
Yes.
So that's something, but I think this is all a part of their effort to use, quote unquote, a shot clock. Now, I talked about Hardy Cree about that. They don't literally use one. Like I've seen quarterbacks in the past, you know, where it's like 3 seconds, you bet that ball better be out before 3 seconds, and they actually have a clock. But it's just an increased processing, just the speed of working through it and just getting the habit. I don't know if you guys realize, but his snap to throw was 2.4 seconds this past week. That's the fastest it's been for him this whole season. And I think it's all a part of that playing with more decisiveness. Mike McCoy, when he was off for the bye week, he watched some various quarterbacks. And, I mean, this guy's worked with some really good quarterbacks too. But he watched and he just saw, like, how decisive, how quickly they made a decision. And that's something that he brought back to Cam and encouraged him to do. What Bo Hardigree did, Nick Holtz did. You know, they Peyton McCollum, you know, the assistant quarterbacks coach. They all worked with him to make him faster, just as far as like, okay, deciding, hey, I got to get out of Dodge and run, or just, you know, I got to step up and manipulate the pocket and buy some time that way. But, you know, it's just been good. And with that, you've also seen the sack numbers go down.
Teron, one thing that we've talked about on this show, I'm sure you've talked about it, you've written about it. One thing that Cam Ward has struggled with this season are deep passes outside the numbers, down the sideline. And yesterday, he hit a couple of those shots. He hit one to Iamaner. He hit one to DK, most notably. Anything you saw on those plays that allowed him to complete those passes that he struggled to complete most of the season?
He had time to throw it. I think that was important. But, I mean, the one to DK, I mean, he's rolled to his left. That was a reenactment of, if you go back and watch the opener last year, Miami versus Florida, he hit one of the receivers that way. And it's just, that's a crazy throw that he made. But even the perfect over-the-shoulder one to DK, or excuse me, to Iamaner was good. And you just seen him get some time. And also, there's a comfort level that he's playing with now. And I asked him about that, and he said, of course, the reps are helping him, but the film study is. And he's at a point now where he, at times, can predict how defensive coordinators are going to play against him, scheme against him. And that's all of that is what the difference is, you know, in that league. Everybody's talented. Some are slightly more talented than others. Don't get it twisted. But it's the mental part of it. Once you have that sharp, then you're basically unstoppable.
We'll talk with Teron Davenport. Now, Teron, we talked about at the beginning of the season, certain guys that needed to show themselves this year. And two of the guys, notably for me, was Chig Okonkwo and Tyjae Spears. And now, listen, I know the season didn't start off or has continued the way the players have wanted to, nor the fans. But when I look at Chig and I look at Tyjae in particular, the last 4 weeks, are they making a claim to be back here next year? And I'm not in Tyjae's situation. I'm not saying that he could be the lead back, but he can be a viable part in more development with Cam. Also, Chigakonkwo, because Chig is now, he's showing more now than he had in previous years, like the consistency.
Right, the consistency. That's exactly what it is. And I think with Chig, he might be their best yards after catch guy on the team. There's just a hungriness that he runs with, and anger, and he's legit from that perspective. And I know a lot of people are writing him off just because of the blocking and you know, saying they should move on from. Listen, I wouldn't be opposed if I was the Titans to re-signing him. It's not going to be an expensive deal. You know what you got in him, and there will be a shift, right? Gunnar Helm is going to be the tight end, but he could be your complimentary guy, right? You know, a lot of people are saying, hey, go sign Isaiah Likely. Well, guess what? Isaiah Likely is going to cost a lot of money. Chigakonkwo won't. And they're very similar players in that they're not guys you use for blocking. You use them to move around. So, yeah, without a doubt, I think with Tyjae Spears, you know, the only thing with him is just the injuries. But, I mean, you've seen the way he runs. You get that guy in space, he's going to make things happen. And then also he has that ability where, as you saw yesterday, where they had that pony package, right, with two backs in the game at the same time, he and Pollard. So he's the guy you can have on the field to use in that aspect as well.
Now, again, the offensive line did a wonderful job, even when Moore went down once again. You know, Udo stepped in, I believe, and continued to do a good job. Is it just that they've went to the quick pass game? That's why you don't see some of the defaults in the offensive line? Or do you believe they are truly getting better?
No, I believe they're getting better. And I think, you know, Scott Fuchs and Matt Jones, you know, these guys came into a situation where, you know, they're replacing the best, if not second best. He and Bill Callahan and Jeff Stoutland, you know, those are the best in the league. They're replacing Callahan, and I think they've done an awesome job of just keeping the message. And Peter Skoronski has stepped up, and I know, you know, he plays guard, and that's not a real you know, glory type of position, but what he's done has been outstanding for this team. And in fact, you know, he bumped out to left tackle for one snap because Ali Udo had just checked in as tackle eligible. And with the rules, if a guy goes down after someone to play after someone checks in, you know, tackle eligible, he can't go back out there. So Skoronski was left tackle for a play. But I mean, I think it's just the dedication to running the football. I mean, I don't care what offensive lineman you talk to, they're going to want to run the ball. And they'll tell you, hey, look, man, when we're running the ball a lot, that makes my job easier. And I think that's what's happening with them. And I think Corey Levin came in, you know, in that Jacksonville game and gave that O-line a jolt too. So, you know, and Levin went in that left guard when Skoronski went to left tackle. So I think altogether, and look, for as much flack as J.C. Latham caught, that young man is playing solid football. You know what I mean? And then you go back and you look at some of those downfield plays. There was a screen, I think it was to Tyjae Spears, and Kevin Zeitler, man, he got to that second level and he was making things happen. So all of the things that you want out of the offensive line are happening now, and they're playing solid football.
Now, TD, if this Titans team was on their way to the playoffs, the way Jeffrey Simmons is playing, is he Defensive Player of the Year?
I think you got to talk about him as one of them. I mean, did you see that swim move he put on that man? And then look, here's the thing. He impacts the game even when the ball isn't snapped. He drew three or four false starts. And actually, the one false start that he drew was the one that set up the situation where he got the safety. You know, yeah, without a doubt, I think he's a guy you have to mention. And he's one you feel him during the game now. You feel Jeffrey Simmons, his presence. So, yeah, I mean, you got to put him up there with mention. But it's hard to, man, Myles Garrett, man. Dude,
yeah, I know.
You know.
But I'm saying his name would be mentioned more with Myles Garrett if this was a winning team.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, I think his name will be mentioned more. But you know what we can mention his name more for? That's the Walter Payton Man of the Year award.
Okay.
And I think when you look at the way he took a negative situation, I mean, imagine having your home broken into I know me personally, someone breaks into my house and I see it, all my thought process is going to be like, I want to shoot them or I want them to go to jail, right? But the way he turned it around, he said, this is why I do my community outreach, because if I could just touch one young man and get him to avoid the streets and avoid these type of actions, my purpose is attained. And I think, he's not an old man. Like he's still young. You know what I mean? And to have that mindset is admirable. So, you know what? Let's mention his name for that award. 3 times in a row he's been nominated. Hopefully this year he wins.
Teron Davenport is with us, and Tony Pollard is out there running like Teron Davenport up the Capitol steps. Recent weeks.
He's running like Rent is due, man.
He's averaging more than 120 rushing yards per game this month. And you previously said to us that you don't anticipate Tony Pollard being back with the Titans next season. I'm wondering if his play over the past month would give them any reason to bring him back, because I'm not sure, and you could tell me, you're the one that would know, what the plan would be for the Titans at running back if they didn't bring Tony Pollard back. Because are we sure Tyjae Spears is ready to be a lead back? Would they sign another back in free agency? So what would be the plan there, you think?
So he has run the football really well. And I find myself every week over the last 2 years tweeting, hey, Tony Pollard runs hard. It's to the point now where it's like, here's your obligatory Tony Pollard runs hard post. But I don't know that he's a true difference maker consistently at running back. And this is no shot at Tony Pollard. He's had a really good last 3 games. But when you're in that $9 million a year range, like, it has to be the Jonathan Taylors, the Derrick Henrys, the Christian McCaffreys, right? So Jake Lyman actually on the Jake and TD show. I wish it was that show. The Next Man Up show.
On TD Thursdays.
TD Thursdays. He brought up the Jets running back, Sean Green, I want to say his name is.
Yeah.
That's a really good option. He's younger. He was once one of those up-and-coming backs. He's going to be less expensive. So I can see that type of merger between Khalil Mullins, Julius Chestnut, and Tyjae Spears for the lower price than just having Tony Pollard.
Teron Davenport has been our guest on D-Mace, Ving, and the Donick. He joins us every Monday during NFL season, and he's presented by Bart Durham Injury Law and fueled by Parman Energy. TD, since we won't talk to you again this week, have a wonderful holiday. Thank you as always, and thank you so much for all of your insight that you provide for our show and all of our listeners.
Merry Christmas, TD.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Merry Christmas to you guys and to everybody listening, man. Take care, be safe, make wise decisions, and love life.
Thank you, TD. 615-737-1025. You can react to what Teron Davenport had to say about the Tennessee Titans. 615-737-1025. We do have a pretty cool giveaway today. We are fresh out of Music City Bowl tickets. So if you're looking for those, I can't help you. But we do have, and this is a mouthful, so bear with me, a pair of passes that give you access to a special area in the Jack Daniels tent behind the stage at the Jack Daniels New Year's Eve Live, Nashville's Big Bash at the Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park on New Year's Eve. Man, that is a mouthful. But you will have a chance in the 4 o'clock hour to win those passes if you're looking for something to do on New Year's Eve. So be listening, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, The Athletic reported over the weekend that the Titans head coaching list is, quote-unquote, taking shape. We'll discuss some of the names reportedly on that list coming up next, 615-737-1025. But first, a couple of programming notes. First, the NFL game of the week is Cowboys versus Commanders on Thursday at noon on 1025 The Game. The NFL game of the week is presented by Circus Sportsbook Kentucky, where we are today, and Macero and 12 South. And also, the college football game of the week is Penn State versus Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl this Saturday at 11 a.m. on 1025 The Game. Coverage is presented by Circus Sportsbook Kentucky and is also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. Derek and I are at the Circus Sportsbook, Kentucky. David Janes is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Willie Donick expected to join us during the 5 o'clock hour because he is the commissioner of Silly Underdog Picks, and we continue Silly Underdog Picks at 5 o'clock. Chris Sanders will join us. Hal Gill will join us, presumably. You never know with Hal Gill. He may be there. Max Hers might be there. Who knows? We'll all find out together at 5 o'clock. Also, be listening this hour because you will have a chance to win. Okay, this is a mouthful, so bear with me. A pair of passes that gives you access to a special area in the Jack Daniels tent behind the stage at the Jack Daniels New Year's Eve Live, Nashville's Big Bash at the Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park on Wednesday, December 31st, a.k.a. New Year's Eve. Performers include Lainey Wilson, Jason Aldean, Bailey Zimmerman, CeCe Winans, and more. Countdown to midnight with live music, fireworks, and the signature note drop at midnight. So if you're looking for some behind-the-scenes passes, kind of behind the scenes, be listening this hour. You will have a chance to win those tickets or those passes. In the meantime, let's go to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and welcome in our friend Dylan. Dylan, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, we were talking about the coaching searches, right, in the 4
Yes.
o'clock hour?
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm good. Okay. I actually was thinking about this, and I didn't see the list of possible coaches that came out. I didn't see that. So, but I just wanted to get y'all's opinion. Do you think that they would consider bringing Mike McCoy back, actually, with the way that him and Bo Hardigree have actively been working as hard as they are towards Cam's progression? Like, do you think that would be a good idea since they're obviously very familiar and close with him and vice versa?
Thank you for the call, Dylan.
Or
I've got two words for that. Hard pass. Hard pass. Now, would I be surprised? And I understand what Dylan is saying, and I want you to speak to, Derek, what Dylan had to say about the familiarity that Mike McCoy and Bo Hardigree, have with Cam Ward and how things have been going lately. We talked about the strides Cam Ward has made over the past 6 weeks. So I do want you to speak to that. But Mike McCoy would be such an uninspiring choice as head coach. And I think Mike McCoy, I've used this term before. He's got major substitute teacher vibes. I'm going to be paid whether you guys learn or not. So would I be shocked if Mike McCoy remained with the organization in some capacity? I guess not, but I can't imagine a world where he is a legitimate candidate to be the head coach. I think he's done as well as he probably could have under the circumstances, but I would rule him out. But let's answer Dylan's question, Derek. Just with the way things have been going lately, do you think that gives McCoy at least an interview for the job?
I don't see how it does. I think if you, which she can do, and I'm not sitting here saying, McCoy hasn't come in here and, Cam hasn't developed, because that's what, my whole thing has been the last 2 months is like Cam is developing. They're doing a good job. Bo Hardigree, Coach McCoy, they're doing a good job at, kind of constricting things, working from the bottom up and trying to get this young man into rhythm. And it seems like it's working. So from that standpoint, they're doing a good job with Cam. But if he you will lose your fan base. Your fan base will be gone, whether he is the right choice or not. Your you would be asking your fan base to hold on one more time with the same coach that didn't really do no better than the last coach that you had to fire. And again, has Cam developed? Yes, I think he has, but is that more so Bo Hardigree or is that Mike McCoy? Is it everybody? Is it both of them? It would be hard for me, and I'm sure it would be hard for the fan base, and more importantly, the fan base. It would be hard for the fan base to sort of sign off on this from a butts in the seat standpoint.
Yeah.
It would be hard to say, okay, guys, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, all Titan fans around the world. We are going to, with all of these coaches that potentially can be out there,
McCarthy,
Saleh,
Saleh.
just name them.
Yes.
Guys that have had their moment and done well, but others not. Out of all those names, you going with Mike McCoy, a guy that, yeah, the quarterback got better, but the team really didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
You can't sell
You
that.
can't sell that to the fan base. You just can't. And you're opening up a new stadium too. Again, does he deserve an interview? Let's say that.
Yes.
Yes, I think he does deserve an interview.
Okay.
But anything beyond that, it's hard to hire him as a head coach.
Yes. If I had a whoopee cushion right now, I would squeeze it, and that would be the noise that would represent how Titans fans would feel if they hired Mike McCoy to be the full-time head coach. Dylan has texted in and said, I guess what I should have asked is that, do you think that they will stay with the organization, meaning McCoy and Hardegree, to help further develop Cam? Well, that's up to
the next coach.
If the next coach sees value in Bo Hardegree sticking around or Mike McCoy sticking around, that head coach can certainly make that determination. I would love to know how often that happens, because most of the time when you hire a new coach, that new coach brings in his own staff.
Exactly.
So I would love to know how often or how rare it is for, let's say, Mike McCarthy gets hired as the Titans coach, just for the purpose of this conversation. I would love to know how rare it would be if Mike McCarthy said, you know what, I was impressed with what Hardegree and McCoy did. I'm going to have them stick around in analyst roles, or Hardegree can stay as quarterbacks coach, something like that. But Matthew from Jolton says, being honest, I want a defensive head coach like a Minter or a Saleh, and to bring in a Dayball McDaniel or someone like that to run the offense. Well, Matthew from Jolton, you may like what you're about to hear, because Diana Rossini, senior NFL insider for The Athletic, former coworker of mine, a long time ago, shout out NBC Washington. She wrote this in her weekly notebook. Quote, Tennessee Titans general manager Mike Borgonzi and president of football operations Chad Brinker are leading the organization's head coaching search, and I'm told their list is taking shape. Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy is viewed internally as a serious candidate. This was written before the game. Nagy will be in Nashville on Sunday with Kansas City, but NFL rules state that there can't be any job discussions. Tennessee also plans to reach out to several defensive coordinators, including Indianapolis's Lou Anarumo, Green Bay's Jeff Hafley, Jacksonville's Anthony Campanile. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Rams' Chris Shula, Houston's Matt Burke, and the Chargers' Jesse Minter. So many defensive coordinators apparently on the Titans list to interview for the head coaching position. Of course, a key aspect of those interviews for the defensive coordinators would be, who are you bringing in to coach the offense? But as I look at this list, okay, and again, I said this earlier, I will repeat myself. I sincerely doubt that Mike Borgonzi and or Chad Brinker took a photo on their phone of their list on a legal pad and sent it to Diana Rossini and said, here, Diana, here are the only coaches, we are considering for this position. That's not what happened. But there are some names here. And I said this earlier, Derek, and I'll say it again. We had a caller mention Matt Nagy. Nagy, to me, feels like the safe choice. He's been a coach in the NFL. He's won NFL Coach of the Year. He did that in 2018. He had two quarterbacks who really haven't amounted to much in the NFL, Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. Now, you can certainly make the argument that Nagy certainly did not help their developments, but Nagy did have, if I am not mistaken, a winning record as head coach of the Chicago Bears. He did not win a playoff game in 4 years in Chicago, but he did have a winning record. He's been coaching under Andy Reid. He has only 2 full seasons of play calling experience because he does not call plays in Kansas City. So I can understand the allure, for lack of a better term, for Matt Nagy, right? He's been a coach. You just hired the up-and-comer in Brian Callahan. Maybe you don't want to go down that route like you did last time. Maybe you are skewing towards more experienced coaches like Nagy, like Saleh, like McCarthy. But to me, it wouldn't be the sound of a whoopee cushion like with Mike McCoy. But I do think, and you tell me what you think, Derek. I think the hiring of of Matt Nagy would be met with a collective shrug. Like, okay. Like, I don't think it would. I don't think it would excite.
it's
Titans
not
fans.
it wouldn't be a lack of better words. I mean, it wouldn't be a sexy pick.
Right. It's not an
for
exciting
this-
choice.
exactly.
That
It's
doesn't
not for
mean
the
it
fan
can't be
base.
effective.
Not to say it couldn't work.
But it would just be like, huh, okay.
Let's
Like,
see what
that's how I
happens.
think Matt Nagy would go
And I think
over.
people want that. Wow, like, oh man, we're really about to do something. But Matt Nagy's not that guy. Now, could he come in here and be a part of changing this franchise? There's a possibility. He's had his ups and downs as a head coach. You didn't quite see the development while he was there with the quarterbacks, but like you said, they went to a playoff, and then he goes to Kansas City, and obviously he has success there, but it's not as the play caller, even though he is designated the play caller by title. But we know Andy Reid does that. So would it be a good hire? Yeah, I can name worse head coaches you can go out and get. But if I'm looking at this team, and mind you, it doesn't. I don't care if you offensive minded or defensive minded, but there may be some that want to go toward that defensive minded coach because sort of the presence of a defensive guy brings more toughness, I think, when you're looking at it. Whether it's Mike Vrabel, Tomlin, even Dan Campbell to a certain extent, but Dan was an offensive guy, but he was a tight end. He was more of a just big burly, guy like that physical type of guy. I don't care if it's an offensive guy or a defensive guy. Get a guy that's going to lead this franchise. That's it. If you get a guy that's going to lead this franchise, he's going to hire the right people. This culture, this locker room, it needs a huge upgrade. They got some guys there. We know who those guys are. Jeffrey, Cam, just to start with those two. Other guys, DK, Alec, Gunner, Big Sweat in the middle. So they have guys, Cedric. They have guys, Tajay. They have guys that can be a part of this, that can help establish the next culture. So you need a guy that's going to come in and demand excellence, because this team hasn't had any excellence over the last 2.5 seasons, 3 seasons. You need a guy that's going to come in here and demand excellence. That's what Vrabel demanded, excellence, detail. That's why, yes, their schedule is soft. I get that. But New England don't beat themselves. That's disciplined football. The Titans, they beat themselves. They don't play as disciplined as they need to. When Vrabel was here at the beginning, they played discipline. That's why even when it was times where they should have lost, they end up winning. And we call that's a Vrabel game. He's going to win a game that many think he's going to lose. Why? Because those guys were disciplined. And he knew what to expect from him, and they knew what to expect from him. They need to bring a guy in that. So whether he's an offensive guy or a defensive guy, you still got to hire if he's an offensive guy, he better hire the right defensive coordinator.
One texter says, let's be honest, Khalil Mack took the Bears to the playoffs with Matt Nagy as the head coach. Nagy, 34-31 as the Bears coach between 2018 and 2021. Went to the playoffs twice, lost both of their opening games. Let's see here. One texter said, Alex and Franklin said, did people not watch Matt Nagy yesterday? He blew his audition badly. Well, to be fair, Alex, who was playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday? Some guy I've never heard of, no disrespect, who I believe had one career pass attempt before he had to start the game yesterday.
No, he didn't have any.
Oh, he didn't have any?
No, he didn't have any.
He didn't have to start the game. He effectively started the game because Gardner Minshew barely made it into the game before tearing his ACL.
Up to that point, he had thrown a pass in a regular season football game.
Okay, well, there you go. He didn't even have one pass. But there have been questions about the Chiefs offense this season. And although Andy Reid calls the plays, Nagy certainly has a hand in orchestrating the offense. I do want to ask you about Jesse Minter because Jesse Minter, he is the Chargers defensive coordinator. He's been in the NFL for 5-6 seasons now. He's a defensive schemer. He was reared at the teat of the Harbaughs, both Jim and John, if I am not mistaken, and Mike McDonald as well, who is also a Harbaugh disciple, if I am not mistaken. I'm sure that Minter is going to get a call from every team with a head coaching vacancy this winter.
Well, if he takes after, if he has any other Harbaugh in him, he's a disciplined coach, kind of like McDonald is. He wants his team to be fast, physical, but disciplined, offensively and defensively. And, you see it with the Ravens, even though their season isn't going the way they want it to, but you see the discipline on the defensive side of the ball at times. But they're known for that, being fast, physical, and disciplined. You look at what Seattle's doing, same things, one of the top-rate defenses in the National Football League. The Chargers, same thing. So if you do hire a guy like that, again, there's a level of respect he brings, and then there's a level of play he's going to demand. And if you're not giving that level of play, eventually he's going to be giving you a seat on the bench, and somebody else is going to be taking your place. That's what you need in this building. A guy like that, the guy that's going to command discipline, do what you're supposed to do, a guy that is going to come in and change the culture, and even with that is going to hire the right assistant coaches around them, meaning offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and guys below them.
Well, let me ask you about another name on that list, Jeff Hafley. Jeff Hafley is the Packers defensive coordinator. Unlike Minter, unless I am clearly missing something, unlike Minter, Hafley does have head coaching experience in college. He was head coach of the Boston College Eagles for 4 seasons. BC had a 22-26 record, made it to 1 bowl game. I mean, Boston College has really never been known
as a football
as a football school. So take that into account. But I'm wondering if the choices were between Minter and Hafley for you. And Minter, again, he's got the Harbaugh DNA in there, and you have a lot of respect for the Harbaughs. But he's never been a head coach. Hafley is coaching a pretty damn good defense in Green Bay, but he has head coaching experience, albeit in college. Would that give Hafley a leg up on Minter to you?
No, because neither one of these young men, and I would assume both of them are young relative. Neither one of them have had head coaching experience in the NFL. So to me, just because you had head coaching experience at Boston College, okay, it's great, but that's not going to make me sway one way or the other. It's not going to tip the scale for me one way or the other. Again, they're going to interview all these men, and they're going to decide which one of these guys are going to, come in here and change the culture, come in here and establish winning as the only thing in that locker room. So whether, it's Nagy, Saleh, whoever it is, McCarthy, whoever it is, they're going to have to come in and establish a new way of playing football, or reestablish the old way of playing football, but in a new style, meaning this team is built around the defense and nobody runs on us. You ain't scoring points on us, and the offense is going to take care of from there. But first and foremost, the 2 things we're going to do is we're going to stop you on defense and we're going to run the football. That's how things need to be established. Look at every team, all these teams, when they get new coaches, if they do well, those seasons, look at Houston. Houston wanted to run the football and they wanted to stop the run. You look at other teams that have made that jump. Denver Broncos, run the football, stop the run. We're gonna get back to establishing that. When Eddie George was here, when Chris Johnson was here, when Derrick Henry was here. Well, let's get back to that and playing that type of defense. And the quarterback will grow in it because now the pressure ain't on him. Now he can grow the way and develop the way he needs to.
And also, Jesse Minter was on Clark Lee's staff at Vanderbilt
There you
at
go.
one point. So there's that connection as well.
And if I forgot any other running backs in between that, no disrespect, but I'm just those three guys
Yes.
are the Titans Mount Rushmore. I'm not talking about the Houston Oilers because we know Earl is at the top, but those three guys, as far as running back, those are my Mount Rushmores.
615-737-1025. Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported over the weekend that Matt Nagy is viewed internally as a serious candidate for the Titans head coaching job. She also mentions several defensive coordinators, including Indianapolis's Lou Anarumo, Green Bay's Jeff Hafley, Jacksonville's Anthony Campanile. Campanile? I don't know. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce that during the break. Both LA defensive coordinators, Chris Shula and Jesse Minter, and Houston's Matt Burke. Your thoughts? 615-737-1025. We will take your reaction coming up next. In the meantime, looking for a great spot to pregame before the final Titans home game of the season? Stop by John Bon Jovi's and pregame with 1025 The Game. JPJ's has the best food on Broadway, cold beer and cocktails, and stunning skyline views, including 2 epic rooftops. The pregame show is brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works and Old National Bank. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 102.5. The Game. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. As I've mentioned, we do have a pair of sort of backstage-esque passes to the New Year's Eve live at the Bicentennial Capital Mall State Park on Wednesday, December 31st. This area includes a heated tent, light food, and cash bar, as well as special access to stage viewing. I will be giving away those tickets, those passes, at the end of this segment.
I
So
want to go.
Okay, well, maybe the person who wins can take Derek Mason because we do have 2 passes, and we will be giving those away.
I can't take a lady. I got a lady. I
That-
can't take one.
Okay, that's fair.
There
That's
we go.
fair. But we
Unless
will
we
be
both go.
I will be giving away those passes at the end of the segment, so be listening. I'll give you the cue to call. Let's go to our friend Trey on our phone line, driven by WilsonCounty100.com. Trey, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, Derek. Hey,
Yes.
hey. When I had on your jersey, I got all the girlfriends.
Well, at least somebody's getting them. I got one. And I love my one. So
hey, and you will always be my favorite wide receiver.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, but hey, I'm confused because we got all these people that's probably going to be trying to get this Titan job, and it makes me nervous because me personally, I want somebody that come in here that's proven. Okay, I don't want somebody that's been out of the game 2-3 years, hanging out at the beach. I don't want them kind of people coming here. Mike McCarthy, I don't want Mike McCarthy coming here. I don't want some clone of Jim Harbaugh or this one or these people. We don't even know these people. And I feel like that, Mike McCarthy coached the team for free. He'll coach the team for free. And now we done start winning. It's like, I don't know what they gonna do, but I don't want somebody that's coming here that's been making coffee for the head coach and now he got his shot. I don't want them kind of people coming here. But I love y'all and y'all have a good evening, okay?
Thank you, Trey.
Thank
Always
you,
good
Trey.
to hear from
Appreciate
you.
it.
By the way, during the break, I learned how to properly pronounce Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli. Campanelli. I don't like to be that radio broadcaster who can't pronounce people's last names. So Anthony Campanelli was on that list.
Dad may have coached, if I'm not, because there was another Campanelli in the NFL or in college. I think his dad may have coached.
So one texter has mentioned Chip Kelly. Now, Chip Kelly was fired into his first season as Raiders offensive coordinator. He didn't even make it through his first season as offensive coordinator. But I want you to answer this question, Derek, from that same texter. I don't think the modern Titans fans will accept a defensive-minded, grind-out game coach. And Amy is aware of that, and she needs to make a splash with the new stadium opening up.
In whether, again, I think what the fan base wants is somebody they feel can change the Titans' fortune, someone they feel that can change the culture, change what they're seeing. And I think that if it's a defensive player, okay, because they've seen that before with Mike Vrabel. So that's true and tested. It seems like the last, since 1997, the coaches that have been successful truly have been defensive coaches, whether it was Jeff Fisher or Mike Vrabel. Now, I know there was some success in between there with a few coaches, but, when you think of sustained success, the peak of where the Titans were with 2 defensive-minded coaches, one in Jeff Fisher and then Mike Vrabel. So I think the fan base just wants, someone that can come in here and remind them and show them what what winning looks like, and how is attained, and how you go about doing it. So, but listen, if they get it off as a guy, there's going to be excitement. I think there's going to be excitement. But either way, you hire somebody that's going to come in here and change what this franchise look like. But also, if it's not him, that he hires the right person to develop the quarterback. Because that's what this boils down to, is developing Cam Ward. Who can come in? They brought the last coach in here. Why? Because they thought he could develop Levis, and then they kept him on because they thought he could develop Cam Ward. It didn't work out for neither guy, meaning the development part while they was with Callahan. So they just want somebody that can come in here and develop the quarterback. So whether you are a defensive-minded guy that hires a really good offensive coordinator, or you're an offensive-minded guy that develops a quarterback, that's what they want to see, meaning a fan base.
One piece of breaking NFL news. The NFL has suspended DK Metcalf 2 games for the swipe he took at a fan during Sunday's game in Detroit. Adam Schefter reports Metcalf can still appeal, but he is now slated to miss the Steelers' upcoming potential game versus the Browns. Your thoughts on DK Metcalf taking a swipe at a fan the other day?
Don't do dumb bleep
to hurt the team.
That right there hurt you, and more importantly, hurt the team. And now if the guy or whoever is petty, they may just throw a lawsuit out there just because. Again, I don't know what was said. It had to be, bad enough for DK to even think he should go over there. But again, unless somebody steps across that line, unless somebody jumps over that wall, you ain't got, I don't care what they say, you cannot touch them. That's just the way it is. That's how life is. It should be that way anyway. I don't care how many things you say to me, especially in a situation like that. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot go and grab a guy or girl or fan, whoever, by the collar and put your hands on them. You actually pulled them out of their space. It's like, man, you can't, and again, I don't know DK's. I don't know if this is, whether it just seems out of character to me for him to do that. But hey, this is a learning lesson for him. And it's going to be a very expensive one.
Yes.
But yeah, you can't. I mean, if it was that bad, you should have just, alerted somebody on the sidelines and let them, because I'm sure there are a bunch of other fans up there that probably heard whoever was saying whatever and addressed it that way and then talked about it afterwards. But you can't go up there and put your hands on somebody.
Quickly, let's go to our friend Mark in Nashville. Mark, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, Adam? D Mace. Hey, D Mace.
Yes.
I don't need your jersey. Women, man, they flock to me. I don't need that.
What about Big Miss Sugar Free?
Sugar free. Oh yes. hey, big, small. Hey, Adam, show some respect for Sugar Free. You can't be doing that, man. You can't be doing that. Hey, you gonna get me beat up for saying that, man. You're already mad at me. She told me I put her out here on Front Street, man. She got mad at me. She spoke to me about 3 weeks about that. Yeah. I wanted to get her something for Christmas, man. Y'all done cost me on that one, man.
What you got, Mark?
Hey, you were talking about that DK Metcalf situation. Yeah, D-Mace, he was wrong for that, man. And he had no business. Like you said, I don't care what you say to somebody. Leave that alone. I never even understood why he was over there that far up by the fan. Didn't put your hands on it. Oh, it's going to cost him through the NFL, and it's going to probably be a good Christmas bonus for that fan when they go to court. Because he's going to get some money for it. You know that he probably had a lawyer from Detroit call him this morning and say, hey, look, I'm going to take care of that for you. But, hey, I heard some people talking about your previous segment about the coaches and stuff and whatnot. And I'm talking fast, Adam, because I know you got a time constraint on me. But these recycled coaches, I'm gonna agree with Trey on that. Nobody wants Mike McCarthy or Arthur Smith. None of those guys. I still don't understand why Clint Kubiak is not on that list, Adam. He'd be the perfect fit for Cam. And plus, I'm sure with his knowledge and knowing people around the league, he would bring in an excellent defensive coordinator to come in there. But I understand what y'all saying. They need discipline. They need somebody that's going to come in there and drop the hammer on them. They need that voice that means business because they can't play around with this coach right here. They're going to have to. They're going to have to get this pick right, not only for Cam but for the franchise. But these recycle coaches, man, I wouldn't touch them. Matt Nagy, come on, man, he doesn't even call plays. You might well brought Callahan back. you don't want to do that. You really don't. But the Titans, this is the most critical. I'm gonna say this, D. Mace. This is the most critical choice they're gonna have to make this time. I mean, it's on the line. They can't have another blunder. They got to get this right. And Adam,
yes,
I'm on my way home, man. I hope she ain't listening on the phone, man. But I'll probably get a call in about 15, 20 minutes, and I'll probably get cursed out today about that. You got to leave Sugar Free alone, man.
You brought her up the first time. I was just asking how she was.
Yeah. Oh, she's doing great, Adam.
Good.
She's doing great. Yeah, she's doing great. Matter of fact, for Christmas, we're going to have chitlin casserole. So there you go, man.
All right, Mark. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, Mark. Always
Merry
a pleasure
Mark.
to have you on the program.
Chitlin casserole. Woo,
I don't
man.
know.
You don't know nothing about chitlins, do you?
No.
Nah, see, you don't know nothing about chitlins.
You can explain it to me during
I'll
the break.
explain it to you.
615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Titans coaching search, but I do want to talk about the weekend that was in the college football playoff. We will do that coming up next. But I did say we have a giveaway, so here it is. If you would like, again, here's a mouthful. Deep breath. A pair of passes that gives you access to a special area in the Jack Daniels tent behind the stage at the Jack Daniels New Year's Eve Live, Nashville's Big Bash at the Bicentennial Capitol Mall State Park on Wednesday, December 31st, a.k.a. New Year's Eve. If you want those passes, be caller number 3 at 615-737-1025. This area includes a heated tent, light food, and cash bar, as well as special access to stage viewing. Performers include Lainey Wilson, Jason Aldean, Bailey Zimmerman, CeCe Winans, and more. Countdown to midnight with live music, fireworks, and the signature No Drop at Midnight. If you want those passes, be caller number 3 at 615-737-1025. Let me just tell you before you do that 1025 The Game is your home for the Mutual Liberty Music City Bowl next Tuesday, December 30th. Our coverage is presented by Pickers Vodka and Beyond the Edge Sports Bar. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025 the game. During the break, I got the history of chitlins from
Yes.
Derek Mason. I feel
Yes.
so much smarter now. So thank you for that,
Oh,
Derek.
you're welcome, man.
And
You're
if you
welcome.
just missed out on those passes for New Year's Eve, we will have one more giveaway today. Silly Underdog Picks is coming up next at 5 o'clock. If you represent the people and win, you will win a pair of tickets to see Matt Rife's Stay Golden World Tour on Saturday, October 24th. Yes, next year, Saturday, October 24th at Bridgestone Arena. So if you want a chance to win those tickets to see Matt Rife next October at Bridgestone Arena, be listening during the next hour during Silly Underdog Picks. If you're the first caller to represent the people and you pick correctly, you will win those tickets. So be listening for that. In the meantime, before we get to Silly Underdog Picks, let's talk about the weekend that was in the college football playoff. I actually tuned in for the start of the game between Alabama and Oklahoma. And then Oklahoma went up 17-0. And I said, I'm going to find out something. I'm going to do something else. I've seen enough. Alabama ties the game, wins 34-24, advances to take on Indiana in the Rose Bowl. We also had Miami winning a ugly game, 10-3 at Texas A&M. It was an entertaining game, but an ugly game. Miami wins 10-3 at Texas A&M. The Hurricanes go on to take on the Buckeyes at the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. And as expected, Ole Miss and Oregon opened up cans of whoop ass on Tulane and James Madison, respectively. Ole Miss wins 41-10, which is closer than the game between these two teams in the regular season, which was 45-10. And then Oregon wins against JMU 51-34. So let's start with Alabama's comeback win, Derek. Alabama, well, let's do it this way. Alabama and Miami were the two teams that when the bracket was revealed, everybody said, they don't deserve to be there. Alabama and Miami. And then Alabama rallies from 17 down to win on the road. Miami wins a tough game on the road as well, validating in their minds their inclusions in the college football playoff. Your thoughts on those two games specifically? Alabama beating Oklahoma and Miami beating Texas A&M.
I think in the Alabama situation, I think Alabama was just a better team. They were, able to take advantage of Oklahoma via the pass. Now, listen, when you look at Alabama, I am not used to seeing this type of play from their receivers. Their receivers are. Had this been a better team, because even in Oklahoma's victory, Alabama really was the better team. Alabama should have won the first game, but they had costly turnovers. And that's what sort of doomed them in the first half. They were not playing good football. They were making mistakes. Everything was happening wrong for Alabama. And then the second half, the better team ended up winning. I think Alabama took control of the game in the second half. Defensively, offensively, they scored points. But this is probably the worst group of Alabama receivers they've had in the last 10 years.
Wow.
They drop entirely too many balls. And against a better defense, a better team, Alabama loses.
I mean, Oklahoma's defense is pretty damn
good.
good.
And they're pretty good, yeah. Oklahoma offense they couldn't get anything going.
That's been the problem all season, really.
So they get a team with a better offense. I'm not sure. They play Indiana.
Yes, Alabama plays Indiana
If
on
Indiana,
New Year's
from
Day
a defensive
at the Rose Bowl.
standpoint, play the way they played against Ohio State, and Ohio State got two top 5 guys on the edge.
Jeremiah Smith
and Carnell Tate.
Yep. They
They were able to hold those guys up. If that same defense shows up, Alabama will get ran out the building. They will. Their offense, their receivers don't do anything for them but drop footballs. Now, they came up with some big catches. I get it. But they drop way too many balls, and they don't play consistent enough for them to get past a team like Indiana. Now, here, Indiana may show up and play the game and may not show up on defense. But if Indiana plays the way that they played against Ohio State and Alabama plays the way they get, Alabama still will lose.
The other two games, the games we expected to be blowouts, were indeed blowouts. Oregon won 51-34, which I think means that James Madison covered, but the score was 34-6 at halftime. And Robbie and Rexroad had a spirited conversation about this morning. Robbie is on the side of these group of 5 teams don't need to be in the college football playoff. And I understand Rexroad's opinion, which is when you invite more teams into the tournament, you open yourself up to these sorts of blowouts, right? But look, I'm sure that the amount of money that was brought in by Tulane and James Madison for this run, the merchandise sales, the attention, the excitement on campus, you can't put a price on those things. I mean, I guess you can, but some of them you can't. But I didn't even turn on either of those games because I knew that they were going to be blowouts. And I know that you want to make sure that every team who is eligible has an opportunity to get into the college football playoff. Because if James Madison and Tulane and the other group of 5 schools know going into the season, we're not playing for the actual national championship. We're going to play for this sort of side national championship. We're going to play the NIT of college football. Those national championships, they mean a lot to those schools, but they're not going to mean much to, in the grand scheme. But I don't want, look, I can't guarantee that had Vanderbilt been the 12th seed in the tournament, I can't guarantee that Vanderbilt would have gone to Oregon and won. But I know that the Commodores would have given the Ducks a hell of a lot better game than what we saw from JMU.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Robbie here. Listen, it's unfortunate that this furthers the argument that teams like Tulane and JMU shouldn't be in the college football playoffs, even if they expand. Because, listen, just because they expand doesn't mean, you're going to see blowouts. If Notre Dame and Vanderbilt had been in the place of JMU and Tulane, in my heart, that wouldn't have been a blowout. It would have been a game, I believe. Well, I'm not saying who would have won, but it would have been more of a game than JMU and Tulane. So I'm not in agreement with Rex on that from that standpoint. But again, it's like, if they compete, they go out there and win based upon the old rules, they deserve to be in. Well, those rules are about to change because, again, I would rather see 2 Power 5 teams going up against one another than what we saw this past weekend. And again, they're just not, even with the advent of NIL and transfer, they're still not on the level of these other teams. They're just not. So as much as you want them to be a part of it, you're doing nothing but embarrassing them because they're going to go out there and somebody's going to put a 40 burger on them and they're not going to be able to hang. Or if they do make a comeback, it's like, oh, the game's really over when you score 2 extra touchdowns to make it, to make it look like it was a game. No, we still beat the brakes off of you.
And this was a point that Robbie was making this morning, and I tend to agree. If you want a group of 5 team to be included in the college football playoff, I do think that there are certain parameters that those teams need to meet. You look at JMU's schedule. JMU finished the regular season 12-1, 8-0 in the Sun Belt, if I am not mistaken. I believe JMU played 1 Power 4 team all regular season. They played Louisville in September and lost by 2 touchdowns. It's just strength of schedule. We talk so much about strength of schedule when we were talking about Vanderbilt and Miami and Notre Dame and Alabama and Texas. It needs to matter for the group of 5 schools as well. I feel like there's a certain threshold, a certain number of Power 4 teams you need to schedule because, again, I don't want to discount what JMU and Tulane did. Mm-hmm. And those universities reaped the rewards. I'm sure campus was electric on James Madison University the other day. But nobody else wants to watch that. And look, the worst thing that could have happened for those of you who believe that these group of 5 teams need to be in, it happened. Both games were blowouts, but we'll see what happens in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. Those start on New Year's Eve. Miami takes on Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. And then on New Year's Day, you have Oregon at Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, Alabama at Indiana in the Rose Bowl, and Ole Miss and Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. 615-737-1025. It is time for our second to last edition of the season of Silly Underdog Picks. Willie Donick will join us. Hal Gill and Chris Sanders will join us as well. And you can join us too. If you represent the people, you will have an opportunity to win a pair of tickets to see Matt Rife at Bridgestone Arena next October as part of his Stay Golden World Tour. 615-737-1025. Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. Ace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. Derek Mason is here. I, Adam Vingan. I'm here. And joining us is the commissioner of Silly Underdog Picks, which is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket, the one and only Willie Donick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Silly Underdog Picks pre-Christmas edition. The contest is now 16 weeks old. It is brought to you by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. It has been in existence for 31 years, and we are wrapping up another season. But it is not over. There are 2 weeks left in the competition, and it is fierce. We have a change in the standings. It is getting a little bit closer, and so the drama is building. And so let us introduce the contestants. First of all, greetings from Cambridge, New York. This is a new location. You know, I've been all over the globe during the course of the season. I've come at you from Florida. I've come at you from north of the border in Montreal. I've come at you from just about everywhere and every time zone. And now we're coming at you from the Eastern time zone in Cambridge, a very small town outside of Albany, New York. So greetings, people.
Hello, Willie. Good to see you.
Hello, Willie.
Yeah. Just making sure you guys can hear me from Cambridge.
we're here.
We
I've never
can.
done a show from Cambridge.
Oh,
before.
absolutely.
We can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So we have all the contestants with us. Chris Sanders, Derek Mason, Hal Gill, and of course, Adam Vingan. So let's reveal the results.
What are you
from
laughing at,
last
Chris?
Week 16.
No, he just said and Adam. It's like your afterthought. Yeah, that's right.
You're the afterthought. You're in last
The wrong
place.
name.
You're in last place.
When I was in Montreal, I called him the wrong name.
He called me. He did call me Alex that day. Yes, he did.
That only happens when I'm in Montreal and I'm close. I wanted to make sure I took an extra second.
Yeah,
get it right.
man.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so going into the week, it was D Mace with a 45-point total that had the lead. Adam Vingan in second with 33. Hal in third with 20. Hal in third with 25, and Chris Sanders with 21.5. So here's how it went. Chris Sanders had the first pick. He normally goes, of course, with the long bomb. He surprised the panel by taking Boise State, just a 9.5-point dog against Washington in a bowl game that I'm not sure there were enough people to qualify as a crowd. I don't know if you guys saw this. This game was played, I think, in Los Angeles. There was nobody there.
That's terrible. It was
Chris,
bad.
did you go?
Man.
Did you watch?
Heck to the no. I didn't even know they was playing until I saw the score. So it was pretty
Well,
bad.
apparently nobody else in
Not
Los
bad. There's
Angeles knew
nobody
this game
here.
was going on either.
Like, it was awful. I'm still mad. So yep.
Yeah, Washington won easy. That's the long and short of
easy.
it. So, Chris, no points for you. You stay in the
Thank you.
in the cellar. I hate to say it, but Chris, you're in fourth place of a 4-team
Hey.
field.
As long as I give it my all, that's all that matters.
Okay. Well, that's nice. All right, let's now get to the next. Derek Mason had the next pick. He took Memphis, a 6-point dog against NC State.
Man.
And we had a good view, loud and clear of this one. Not loud because the sound was off, but we were actually doing our show earlier this week while Memphis was slugging along against NC State. And
we don't have to talk
Derek,
about this
how
one.
would you describe the play of the Memphis Tigers in this game?
Is that describing it? Is that a good description of it?
It's a good sound
I'm
effect.
just surprised you didn't throw anything at the TV. There were some wide open Wolfpack members running up and down the field throughout the afternoon. It wasn't close. You get some crazy bowl games at this time of the year. And so NC State rolled over Memphis. So D-May stays at 45 points. Now we have Hal Gill. He decided, let's go to a playoff game. Let's get a game that means something. This is for the national championship, and why not go big? Hal was 20 points behind. He picked a game that could, in theory, have put him in the top position in this competition. He took the James Madison Dukes, a 21.5-point dog against Oregon out in Eugene. And how, we were actually working while the first part of this game was going on. The Predators got a big victory over the Maple Leafs. We gathered at Pete and Terry's to watch to see if the Dukes could pull the upset. And when we got there, what was the score?
It was a lot to a little, but I like my guys. Hey, we didn't give up. Willie, the Dukes did not give up. They fought. They battled to try to get back, and they kept my dreams alive, even though you squashed them at every turn. You're the worst person ever to watch a football game with. The negativity that came out of your mouth sucked. I hated it.
I don't think that's how I recall that. I feel like when we got to Pete and Terry's, the Dukes really started to find their groove.
They did cover.
They did cut that lead.
They did
down
cover.
to 28 really fast. They got it back to 28.
It's a moral victory, fellas. A moral victory, but morals don't get you very far.
Nope. And that is the thing about silly underdog picks. No points for a cover. So Hal stays at 25. Oregon won, as he said, a lot to a little. But JMU did fight and score a bunch of points late to make it look a little bit better. But JMU and Tulane, not a great performance for the committee there. Now we get to Adam Vingan, and he's been waiting all weekend for this recap because he selected Old Dominion, a team from his backyard where he grew up, near Norfolk, Virginia, a 5.5-point dog against South Florida. And sure enough, Old Dominion, in another game that was going on while we were doing the DVD show,
yes,
Old Dominion pulls the upset and gets 5.5 points. So that creeps Adam up a little bit closer to D-Mace. He's now got 38.5 points.
I'm coming for you, Derek.
Absolutely within striking distance. Adam, describe the feeling in the Vingan house when you saw the final score for the Monarchs.
I would have never doubted my Monarchs, as you said, in my backyard. Shout out 757. But I'm going big this week. I'm taking the lead against Derek Mason.
Oh, man.
This past week was just an appetizer. You're getting the main course, Derek Mason.
Goodness.
It's coming.
Yap.
Boy, I shudder to think what the holidays will be like in the Mason house if he cannot hold on to this lead and he gets passed up by
Willie,
Adam.
I do have a question because you are the historian of silly underdog picks. There was a time during this competition where I was in last place. If I were to win, would this be the greatest worst to first story in the history of silly underdog picks?
Oh man.
No.
Thank you, Willie.
All right, we'll see. We'll
You
see.
weren't that far behind, but it would be a very nice story. It'd be a nice story. Worst to first would be good.
I'll take nice. Nice is fine.
So we're going to do this again one more time. So you have 2 picks left. You have the playoff games this weekend, and you have all the bowl games that take place between now and next Monday. Remember, next Monday, we did determine it's Monday, right? We're going to do this before the Music City Bowl and all the,
so next
the bowl
Monday is
games
fine. Yeah.
that Vanderbilt is in. Tennessee's in the bowl game. You got a bunch of bowl games plus the playoff games next week, so you have room for 2 more picks. So here's the order. Now, D-Mace has the lead, and he happens to have the first pick. Then it'll be Hal, Adam, and then Chris to wrap things up. So let's start the Week 17 picks with D-Mace right now in the lead, but it's a precarious lead, just 6.5 points.
Oh, it's precarious.
Yes.
Now cut that damn stuff off. I started to say, damn, you know what? Cut that stuff off and play my theme music. And play my damn theme music, okay? I'm not making. There we go. That's what messed me up last time.
Excuses.
Listen, I thought it'd be a good game. That's what I thought.
All right. I am going straight to the. I just had it. Gosh, where did it go? Oh, here we go. I am going Ole Miss. Over, is that this week? Is that before Monday? Ole Miss?
Yes.
Georgia?
Actually, it is?
Is it before Monday? I want to make sure before I pick
that's
it.
this weekend, right? The playoff game.
Yes, it's this weekend. I am taking Ole Miss to beat Georgia. What is that? A
Ooh.
10? What is that? A 10-point?
Ole
Ole
Miss in
Miss
Georgia is actually
He's playing in the Sugar Bowl.
yes on January 1st.
Oh, I can't pick it. So yeah, you're right. I can't.
Come
pick
on,
it.
Derek.
That
Come on,
game's not
man.
till-
I just
that game's not till January 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the way. That's what it says. Yeah, I was like, I thought that game was this weekend.
No, it's not this weekend.
All right. With that being
Oh,
said,
You've been disqualified.
So we have
Huh?
to,
no, no,
so we're skipping the playoff games. We have to do the playoff games
Next week.
next week.
next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Give me. I'm taking Penn State over Clemson.
Oh, in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Pinstripe Bowl. It's 3 points. 3-point spread.
Well, the commissioner has done a bad job because I thought that you would have the playoff games. I told you you'd have the playoff games, and I was mistaken.
Yes, but don't worry about
So-
it, Willie. I'll blame it on you if I lose.
Why can't I not like the Pinstripe Bowl? Okay, here we go.
Uh,
So Penn State in the Pinstripe Bowl. Where is it?
right
The
here.
Pinstripe Bowl. Clemson is a 3-point favorite
Yes,
at
don't see it?
Yankee
We're Penn
Stadium on December 27th.
exactly. There you go. That's all you need to know, Willie. 3 points.
Penn State Clemson at Yankee Stadium. Hal Gill's favorite place, Yankee Stadium, being a Red Sox fan. All right, that brings us to Hal Gill. So D-May's going for the layup, 3 points, and trying to just inch ahead. That's interesting strategy as we move down the stretch. Now, let's get to Hal Gill and get his pick for Week 17.
All right, boys. Okay, all right. Derek, I have to say D-May's like come strong with a pick. I know you're in the lead and you're just kind of you're just trying to ride it out, but like come strong with it. You're wishy-washy. You don't know what's going on. You're not paying attention, and I'm dialed in. Even though it is an off day, I'm dialed in. I'm because of the FanDuel F-off. I am stuck here with ESPN announcer AJ Malesko. We're having a pint, and so you guys better appreciate how much I love you guys because I'm taking time out of our day to pick the Nebraska the Huskers. You know, the N stands for knowledge, right?
That's right.
I'm going to go with them over the Utes, the 2 Utes. I'm going to take Nebraska over the Utes.
There
I
we
think
go.
that's some
So
big
I
points
think we
too,
do
right?
need to take an appreciation
That's like a
moment for Hal
10-pointer.
Gill.
That's the 10-pointer, I think.
Appreciation moment for Hal Gill for taking the time to make this pick because this is the only night that we're not playing. They had games Saturday, Sunday.
Commissioner, we do have an
flying
issue.
today.
We do have an issue.
Oh,
Yes.
That
So
game
Hal, I hate to tell you this. but this
that game is on
will fall
December
into the next
31st.
week's window. Yeah,
Yes.
that falls into next week's window.
And he talking about
So you
I
can-
wasn't paying attention.
That wasn't the second round. I thought
It's
we
not
were
the
going
second
to the
round.
31st.
But the bowl game is
specifically
played in the window of next week. That's a New Year's Eve day game, Nebraska and Utah. So you can pick that
All
one
right, well,
next week if you like.
that doesn't help me right now, Willie.
Hey, pick Ohio over UNLV.
No.
It's seven-
No, don't do it.
Do it, Hal. Do it.
Can you come back to me?
No.
Hey, Hal. Once you come off
Well,
the
you don't want
pick,
to forfeit your turn.
yes, you got to forfeit. It happened in the draft, in the NFL draft. A team didn't pick, the other team went and
That's right.
drafted the
That's
guy.
The clock ran out.
Exactly. Clock ran out. So either you pick now, Hal. I'm giving you.
Killing me.
I'm
You guys are
filibustering,
killing me.
Hal. I'm filibustering here. Okay, I'm trying to get you so you can try to pick your team. I'm trying to continue to talk, Hal. Hurry up, pick your team, please.
I got TCU taking over USC. How about that? Will you guys let that go?
If it's within the
Let
window,
that go. I'm not sure that's in the required window.
It's not.
It's Hal.
It's on Tuesday. The
You're looking at week 19. You're
Uh,
having the Bulls 18.
oh my goodness, Hal. Hey, Hal, here's one. North Texas and San Diego State. Take San Diego State. It's a 3-point spread.
then,
I don't need
then
3
he's just
points.
doing what you do.
know
He,
that,
he needs
teammate.
more than 3. He
Oh,
needs more
okay.
than 3.
All right. Well, Pittsburgh and East Carolina. Pittsburgh is a 10-point spread. 10-point favorite. There you go. You need 10 points, Al.
Central Michigan. Oh my God.
Okay, now we're talking.
All right,
The
that
Chippewas.
counts.
That
The
counts.
Chippewas.
They're gonna
Now
throw
we're
a beat
talking,
down
Hal.
on Northwestern. That's the one I wanted all along anyway.
Yes, it just took you a little ways to get there, Hal, but that is the game I know you were locked in on all week. It's very clear.
Well, I have a local hazy IPA that's calling my name, so I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Love you,
Yeah.
Al. Thank you.
Love you.
Hal,
Hey,
Hal.
teammates,
Hey, Hal.
Yes.
teammates, and all you other. I hope you all lose.
Hey, Hal. The key word that you just said in that whole description of your drink is haze. You were a little bit in the haze there. So get it together. Tell AJ to get you straight, okay? We've got a game to call tomorrow night.
Man.
Hey,
That'll
it's
be all right.
the season, boys. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Cheers, boys.
Thank you, Al.
Cheers, Al.
Thanks,
Thank
Al.
you.
Okay, so Hal takes the Chippewas, Central Michigan,
Third time's
out
the
of the
charm.
back, and they are a 10.5-point dog. It'd be funny if he wins this game. And they are taking on the Wildcats of Northwestern. Okay, and this bowl game is called the Game Above Sports Bowl at Ford Field in Detroit. So you know the weather conditions will be pristine, shall we say?
Exactly.
And
It'd be
TJ's
excellent.
hometown of Detroit. All right,
It's
now we get to the
indoors.
big drama. Now we get to the big drama. Adam is within striking distance here. He has the 3rd pick as he tries to close in on Derek Mason.
All right, since we wasted so much time with Hal Gill's pick, I'm surprised he didn't make this selection. Willie, you said the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, Hal Gill's favorite place as a Red Sox fan. Of course, you were being tongue-in-cheek. I'm actually going to pick a bowl game that is being played at Hal Gill's favorite place, Fenway Park. Give me UConn over Army in the Fenway Bowl.
Oh, my gosh, you stink, man.
I looked at that game. Army going to
Dang,
run
you
through
stink.
'em.
You know what? We were looking at this earlier this week, and my reaction when you threw this game out there, Adam, to me was, UConn's in a bowl game? That was my reaction.
Well,
UConn is an 8.5-point underdog against the Black Knights of the Hudson. Army is an 8.5-point favorite in this game. So UConn taking on Army at Fenway Park. Of course, I'm sure all of the UConn fans will fill the stadium there at Fenway. I'm really curious what the crowd looks like in that one. That game's being played Saturday at 2:15. So UConn is the pick against Army. Now, doing the math, if Adam wins and D Mace loses, Adam takes the lead. If they both win, we've got a really tight race going into the final week. It is going to be very close. D Mace would hold a very slight lead if he wins. So keep an eye on that. And now we have the wild card. Chris Sanders, what has he got up his sleeve? There's not that many games to pick that usually fit his taste when he goes for the long bomb. So let's see what he's got.
Oh, wow, that's cold, man. That's cold, man. That's cold. That's cold.
cold-blooded.
That's cold, man. Hey.
That threw
Okay,
him off.
I'm still. It did. So, can I pick Nebraska over?
No, you cannot. We've already established
We've
that.
gone over this.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
Oh,
here we go.
wow.
Let me look. Okay, here we go. I got it right here, big dog. I'm gonna go ECU over Pitt. Let's go.
Okay,
Where you going?
that is a legal pick.
I'm going to Wendy's.
Okay. If you say so.
The Pirates of East Carolina are a 9.5-point dog as
I'm
they
gonna need
take
it.
on the Pittsburgh Panthers, who, of course, Pittsburgh being this great team, that it was a quality win for Notre Dame. It was a quality win for Miami when they beat Pittsburgh. And here they are in the Military Bowl in the Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland, taking on East Carolina. So I really am rooting for you in this one.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks,
Chris.
buddy.
Yeah, and you need the points, quite honestly. We need you to get back.
You know, see, I'm gonna hang up on you for that right there. That's cool. I'm gonna hang up on you.
But I want to show the committee just how weak Pittsburgh is, and I want them to go down against East Carolina. So, by the way, let's quickly congratulate Dr. Locke, who was the People's representative last week. He selected Miami with the People's pick, and of course, they pulled it out against Texas A&M in one of the strangest playoff games, kind of ugly playoff games, the wind and everything. That was a weird game, but he got it done. So, Dr. Locke, you win for the people. Now let's recap the picks for Week 17. 2 picks left in the competition. Derek Mason with the lead and the ball and the first pick selects Penn State, just a 3-point underdog in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, played next Saturday at 12 o'clock as they take on the Clemson Tigers. Interesting strategy by D-Mace, trying to throw short of the chains and just try to take a little bit more of a cushion. Hal Gill, a little disheveled, a little overworked, going with the hazy IPA, keyword being haze. He stumbled around. He picked 2 ineligible games that won't be on the docket until next week. Hopefully he wrote those down, so he's got those in his pocket next week. But he's finally settled on Central Michigan. They are a 10.5-point dog against Northwestern at Ford Field in Detroit. Then Adam Vingan, moving up the ranks, trying to go from worst to first. He selects UConn, an 8.5-point dog in Annapolis, Maryland, as they take on Army. So Army in Navy territory, playing the bowl game against UConn. Actually, that game is at Fenway Park, I should say. That's the Fenway Bowl. So we got a Yankee Stadium Bowl and a Fenway Bowl. And then finally, Chris Sanders. He had the 4th pick. He had to take what was there, and so he goes with East Carolina, a 9.5-point dog against Pittsburgh. And he will hope that the Pirates will knock out the Panthers and Chris can move up out of last place. So those are the picks for Week 17. Gentlemen, have a great Christmas. And, of course, good luck.
Merry Christmas to all y'all, and I hope Santa comes down and steal y'all games. Leave y'all with big L's underneath the tree for y'all games.
All right, Grinch.
And I know Santa on first name basis. I got a cell number, so y'all will be getting the L's underneath the Christmas tree.
You'll be hearing from me if UConn pulls this off. Just saying, you'll be hearing from me. And Chris is also here. We love you, Chris.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, wow. Oh, see.
Merry Christmas, Christopher.
Hey, love y'all too, man. Pleasure working with y'all.
Later.
All right, 615-737-1025. The first caller will represent the people. 615-737-1025. If you represent the people and win, we had a winner last week. If you represent the people and win, you will win a pair of tickets to see Matt Rife at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, October 24th, 2026. Keep in mind, so you're not stumbling around like Hal Gill, you have to pick a bowl game between now and next Monday, December 29th. All other bowl games are ineligible. 615-737-1025. We'll get the people's pick, and we'll revisit the Titans' win against the Chiefs. Coming up next, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5 the game. You can't keep us separated. Hear that? See what I did there?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. Let's get our people's pick. Let's go to our phone line and bring in Ricky. Ricky, welcome to the competition. Your selection, please.
I'm going with LSU over Houston.
LSU over Houston. Let's stay on the line. Let's make sure that this game is actually happening when it's supposed to. No disrespect to you, Ricky, but Hal Gill wasn't prepared. So let's make sure
Neither was D-Main.
neither.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Oh, he made sure he got that in there.
Burn.
So LSU
That does
LSU
count.
is-
Thank you, Ricky. Good luck.
Hey, I was better prepared than Hal was. Hal went through 8 rounds trying to pick a team.
he went through the whole docket twice.
Exactly.
I think before.
Yes.
He got one that he could take. LSU is a 2.5-point dog against Houston
Okay.
in the Texas Bowl. So they're actually playing in Houston. So LSU, an underdog in that game. Interesting matchup. LSU unranked against the Houston Cougars.
And good luck to you, Ricky. If you win, you'll win a pair of tickets to see Matt Rife's Stay Golden World Tour at Bridgestone Arena next October 24th. Let's revisit the Titans' 26-9 win against the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday at Nissan Stadium. The streak is over. The Titans have won a home game for the first time since November 3rd of last year. 11 consecutive losses at home. No more. Cam Ward, his best performance of the season, 21 for 28, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a season best 122.3 quarterback rating. Willie, since you weren't on to share your thoughts on Cam Ward's performance and the Titans' performance yesterday, why don't you give us those thoughts? How do you think the team and Cam Ward performed yesterday?
Well, as we talked about, what we suspected happened. You had a Chiefs team that was really down, depleted, and I think the best time to play a team is the week after, and I think this goes in college as well. The week after you're out of it, that next week is a really tough game to get up for. And then on top of it, Minshew gets hurt, so it's like you almost couldn't not win. As great as the Chiefs have been over the years, that looked like a preseason game in a lot of ways. And I feel happy for the fans that went there. My son and his 2 buddies, they've been to a bunch of Titans games, and they gathered at our house on the east side before they went over there. And I said, guys, when's the last time you saw a Titan victory at home? And they were going back. A couple of them were at the Patriots game last year. Mahoney hadn't been to a home victory in a couple years. He goes to a lot of games, but I admire their diehard willingness to go to the game. Then they went to the Predators game after that, so they were hardcore. But all that being said, I think it was exactly what we hoped it would be. If you're going to win, let's at least have it be a game that Cam Ward comes out of there with good numbers and a little more confidence. Regardless of who was out there, it's an NFL game. It goes on his stats. He gets a win. I like that. And I was a little worried about that, guys, when it was 3-2 midway through the second quarter. I was like, oh, man, they're going to win. They're going to win this game 6-3 or 5-3, and everybody's going to be mad that they won. But at least as the game went on, he got better and better, and I thought he looked like he showed some signs of growth.
I will say I was rooting for the scoregami. I was rooting for the scoregami.
How can you not?
When it was 2-0. When it was 2-0, the last time an NFL game ended 2-0 was 1938. And I said, we need this. And then the Chiefs scored to make it 3-2. And then I went to scoregami. And the last time an NFL game ended 3-2 was 1926. I was like, we need this. And there was actually one opportunity, if I am not mistaken, in this game for a scoregami. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Titans at one point led the game 18-9, if I am not mistaken. That would have been a scoregami. There has never been a game that ended. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 16-9. I was hoping it would be 18-9 or 19-9. I don't know. Either way, I was really hoping for a scoregami or a score that hasn't happened in nearly 100 years. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But Willie, what Derek and I said at the beginning of the show is Cam Ward has shown some pretty, I don't know if significant may be an exaggeration, but he has shown some notable signs of growth since the team returned from its bye week. He's completing nearly 64% of his passes since the bye. He has thrown 8 touchdowns to 1 interception. He has cut down the sacks per game by 2 whole sacks. Now, some of that has to do with the offensive line, but he has done a better job, I think, of evading sacks. So the sacks have been cut down significantly. He's not throwing for as many yards. When he throws the ball isn't going as far as it did before the bye. But when you put it all together, I think you can say with cautious optimism that Cam Ward has shown some signs that he can do this at the NFL level.
Yeah, and look, it's all going to be about what it looks like next year. But these are building blocks. These stats count, and I think just for his overall wellness and confidence, I think this was a beneficial game. He had, I think it's noteworthy for our take it to the bank that he ended up with 9 yards rushing as D Mace was going for 10. But the and his QBR, I keep an eye on the QBR each week because he's got the lowest QBR. It was 34.5, which isn't any great shakes. The passer rating was really good, 122.3. And these aren't end-all be-all numbers, right? The eye test, he made some really good throws.
Why do you think
He's
the
gonna feel
QBR
good
was so low?
about those? Honestly, I'm not quite sure.
I was surprised when I saw
why it
that
would be
number,
that
by the
low.
way.
Yeah, that's lower than I would have thought. I would have thought at least in the 50s. But it is what it is. He doesn't run much. QBR, if you run for yards, that helps your QBR. It's when you make the plays. And I thought that should grade out pretty well. His efficiency was pretty good. I do think, as you mentioned, the completion percentage has gone up. Part of the reason is, and D Mace, you can weigh in on this, they clearly are getting the ball out quicker, right? There were some plays where he's catching it and throwing a little sidearm like he's turning a double play in baseball. He's throwing it right away to the tight end. So that's helping the completion percentage. It's but he had some strikes down the field that were noteworthy. Nothing big, right? But he got some big plays. He threw some good ones down the field. He had some good run after the catch, right? Tajay Spears has a nice run after the catch. It's a really easy throw, but that helps your yards per attempt. These are all the things you're trying to build when you're putting together a winning profile as a quarterback. But I think he's growing with the offense, and they're learning how to get the numbers a little bit better, especially with limited resources around him. They're also, by the way, again, running the ball well. Tony Pollard, another good game.
By the way, it was his quickest time to throw of the season, roughly 2.4 seconds time to throw. So all in all, and I did say this, Willie, and I didn't hear from a lot of them. So maybe we can hear from them before the show ends. I want to hear from some of the Cam Ward skeptics today. I'm not expecting you to call us or text us 615-737-1025 and say, oh, I couldn't have been more wrong about Cam Ward. I'm not expecting that. But I want to hear from the skeptics because the numbers have been so much better since the bye week. Are they popping off the page? No. Completing 63.9% of your passes is nothing to necessarily write home about, but it's a lot better than it was before the bye. So maybe in this final segment, we'll hear from some of those Cam Ward skeptics. 615-737-1025. We'll wrap up the show. Coming up next, Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you, wrapping up the show. Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunted.com, and welcome in Dr. Locke. First of all, Dr. Locke, congratulations on successfully picking on behalf of the people last time around. I hope you enjoy. I believe you won Trevor Noah tickets. I hope you enjoy that.
Absolutely. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. I do want to, before I touch about, and I'll weigh in on Cam Ward, but before I do, how you doing, D-Mace?
Hey, I'm doing well, Doc.
If I remember correctly, Dr. Locke always has a good memory. D-Mace, your pick to win it all on that radio station was Texas A&M. And just to kind of recap, there's been a lot throughout the season, a lot of different people, not going to put them out there, but a lot of people said, if you take any of these 2-loss SEC teams and you put them in another conference, the ACC or the Big 12, they'd be undefeated. I think we need to retire that narrative. That was not I didn't escape that game. I mean, Miami ran for 160, 170 yards. That running back still running right up the middle on A&M. And they missed 3 chip shot field goals. That game was a lot easier. That was a rocket share game. That game was a lot easier of a game than the score dictates. If that field goal kicker makes any of those chip shots, it's not even close.
Yeah, Texas A&M, for whatever reason, that didn't show up. But it was a good defensive game.
Oh, okay. So now we're going to denounce A&M.
Oh, no.
We're going to doubt.
No, I'm not.
Doubt.
I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting Miami or A&M. Miami was the better team. They just was a better team this weekend.
And on Cam Ward, there's an old saying that when the tide rises, all the ship goes up. So the Titans have been playing complementary football, and the offensive line is vastly ahead. The last 3 games have made big strides. So conversely, when you have time to throw the ball and your running game's working, the passing game's working. I mean, that's no major thing of why he's throwing the ball. But if you look at his balls past 20 yards downfield, he still throws an atrocious long ball. I mean, it is what it is. But one more question before I jump off, and I want to hear the answer to it. So if Indiana beats Alabama, if Oregon beats A&M, if the Ohio State, please, D for a dynasty, if the Ohio State beats Miami and then beats Georgia, and there's you guys got what, 6, 7, 9 teams in, whatever. But if you don't even get a team in the championship for a second year in a row, and the Big Ten wins a 3rd national championship, can I please, for the love of God, have y'all admit that the Big Ten is a better conference? I mean, I just need to hear it.
Thank you for the call, Dr. Locke. Thank you for the call.
And we love when Dr. Locke calls.
Yeah,
I think that's
congratulations.
The SEC
yeah,
snob.
Congratulations to him winning. But Dr. Locke, I am a Michigan State grad. I'm a Big Ten guy.
He knows that.
Hey, if all Big Ten was in, hey, I don't mind not one bit as long as Michigan's not in. Okay.
Well, you don't have to worry about that right now.
But I don't mind one bit if it's a all Big Ten sort of playoff national championship. So I'm with it. I think he was talking to you, Willie.
Yes, he was talking to you.
He was talking to the SEC snob, the self-proclaimed SEC snob. And I admit, I was disappointed in Texas A&M. I really thought they had it there for the taking, and they just never could get the consistency. It was a windy day. If people watched the game, the wind was swirling all over the place, which made it hard to throw and hard to kick, of course, as we saw. But he's absolutely right. Miami had more opportunities to score. There was a lot of times where the team would move the ball and then somehow find a way to not score by missing a field goal or sacking or something like that. But Miami up front was impressive. And I did say this about Texas A&M during the season. They did get a little easier week in, week out schedule within the league. And when you have 1 million teams in your league, and this is true in the Big Ten as well, a lot of years you get a little lucky and your strength of schedule is a little bit easier than some of the teams in your same league, which is what's messed up about having leagues this big. It's really not a true way to evaluate a conference. And I do think that showed up for Texas A&M. And then for them, they had that bad game late. They hadn't played since that game against Texas, and I think there was a carryover, right? Marcel Reed, I mean, I think he has been a fantastic story. You know, right out of Nashville, he had a great year, but he did tail off a little bit at the end of the year. And yes, on Saturday, he just was not sharp, right? There were some plays there for him that he just was a little bit off with the wind and everything like that. It was just not a great day for him to not be sharp. And as it was, you know, they were inches away. Did you guys think, by the way, the play before they throw the interception and the guy got smoked right at the goal line, was that targeting? The defensive player got hurt. So immediately everybody runs out there and looks on the defensive player. But I feel like that looked a little like targeting. I've seen stuff like that be called. Maybe I'm wrong. It looked like there was some helmet-to-helmet defenseless receiver. Can you imagine calling that in that situation?
And that's why they probably didn't call it.
Probably so.
You know.
Scott and Waverly on our text line says, I was honestly more impressed with the guys catching the ball more than I was Cam. A couple of those rookies look pretty good. And to me, Cam has gotten better the last 3 weeks. It kind of makes me wonder if we should keep this coach. He's steadily getting the team better. That's what we need. Again, Willie, you weren't on for this portion, but I said that the Titans keeping Mike McCoy would be the equivalent of me taking a whoopee cushion and just playing it on the air, just right into the microphone. That you all know the sound. That's what the sound would be if the Titans hired Mike McCoy. I don't think that's going to happen, but
yeah. I don't think so either.
But Cam,
they beat Cleveland and they beat Kansas City, and like I said, did that not feel a little bit like a preseason game? You're watching the Chiefs, but the guys in the uniforms are not really the Chiefs.
Even Travis Kelce was out there, and I'm just like, that's Travis Kelce? Now I know it was a third-string quarterback at quarterback because Gardner Minshew also tore his ACL.
They beat him.
I hear you.
Right. They were better than.
It's a win.
And the Titans had their injuries too. They got, and like Adam and I talked about earlier. You know, Harris went down. Harris Jr. He went down. So another guy that they got to potentially play without in the secondary moving forward. And I know they only got 2 games left, but this team is depleted in not just talent, but even the guys that were out there trying to give what they could. Now they're hurt. So kudos to the Titans. Again, I get it. Kansas City didn't have their marquee guys. They didn't have about 3 guys on defense. And I know they didn't have Patrick, which is the most important thing. But the Titans didn't have guys that they were counting on, and they're a bad team. They went out there and they kept playing inspired football, and they beat a team that they were better than. That's how I look at it.
Quickly,
right. and they have had a very tough schedule earlier in the season, tougher than most, right? Strength of schedule should be noted, which is part of the reason their record is what it is. But I think Dr. Locke made a good point that we should emphasize. The offensive line is playing better. And Tony Pollard all of a sudden is putting together numbers that it's going to get him paid. If he doesn't stay with the Titans next year and he is cut and goes to the free agency, he's going to have well over 1,000 yards if he plays these last 2 games. And if he gets anything close to what he's done the last 3 weeks, he's going to have well over 1,100. I don't know what to make of that. You know, like, is it all the offensive line? What's going on with the running game? Because as he said, that helps support Cam Ward.
I think I just believe once they, not that they changed the offense, but I think they modified it, and they really worked towards some of Cam Ward's strengths, meaning the short game, quick game, getting him in rhythm. I think now they've incorporated that with their run game, and it looks more like it should look, where the run game complements the passing game. When I say complement, I don't mean numbers. I mean, they look the same. We're running the same plays. You don't know if it's running past the screen. They're starting to do that more, where they're not tipping things off. They're not deliberate with things in their play calling. So I think that is what has made the offensive line and Cam Ward a lot better than what they were at the beginning of the season. And that's the running game is now prospering from that.
Quickly before we go, earlier today at Bridgestone Arena, Nick Saban, new minority owner of the Nashville Predators, held a news conference. Governor Bill Haslam, of course, chairman of the Predators, was seated beside him. It was a cool thing to see.
How many times did he say
I don't think I heard many, actually.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't keeping track, but I didn't hear very many ayes. I'd have to go back and look at the transcript. But and he acknowledged it. He goes, I'm no expert in hockey. I'm not going to make some huge impact coaching around here, but I do know what it takes to have a successful organization. But to see Nick Saban out there, it's the first time I've ever seen Nick Saban up close and personal, wearing a Predators pullover, Willie. It was a cool sight to see.
Yeah, and I didn't get to see the whole thing. I had a chance to talk to Andrew Burnett yesterday, back in the summer, and I guess all of this was brewing at the time and nobody knew it, but he had a good long conversation with Nick Saban. And when I say the summer, I think it was just, sort of prior to training camp, or I don't remember if it was then or even before that when they had the summer rookie camp after the draft. It was one of those two times. I'm not sure which one, but he was very impressed. You know how Andrew Burnett loves to study other sports and figure out what translates. What little tidbits can he pick up, what's working in other sports. So that's making him tick. He enjoyed researching Nick Saban and then having a good coach-to-coach conversation. There's just a lot of layers to the benefits of Nick Saban there. I'll give you another one. Friday night, he gets booed off the stage in Norman, Oklahoma. But while he's doing that, he's been introduced on College Game Day. The guy that owns the Nashville Predators, Kirk Herbstreit, and now all of a sudden I'm blanking on his name, the punter, Pat McAfee, is saying, hey, thanks for buying the Predators. You can't put a price on that marketing. That's a huge. How many times do hockey teams get mentioned on College Game Day? So there's a lot of good layers to this that just simply have Nick Saban's name associated is going to help. But I think he's going to help in a lot of other ways as well.
That'll do it for us today. We'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow, our final show before the holiday. We hope that you'll join us once again. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Be love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful Monday. I love you. The team love you. You hear that song. Don't you forget about us, because we will never forget about you. See you tomorrow, 3 p.m. on 102.5 The Game. Peace.